New study indicates that New York and New Jersey have lost nearly $700 billion with a B as residents flee to low-tax states. This is without Mamdani even being in office. What's that going to do? It's going to accelerate it. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's watch a little video. Here we go.
Escape from New York. The tax base has been fleeing the Empire State. And that was before a socialist was the front runner to be mayor of its biggest city. The top 1% pays more than 40% of all income taxes in New York. That means social services, benefits, healthcare, education. Well, those people are packing their bags and they're moving south. The numbers just don't lie. Over 125,000 New Yorkers moved to Florida alone, and with them, went a combined $14 billion in income. That's a big ouch right there, Gary. Do you think that the flow of people down south to southern states like beautiful Florida, is that going to stop when Mamdani's elected?
Let me just state, if able, business people and capital will flock to where it's treated best. And all I can tell you, in my city in Florida, you have stores, restaurants, schools, hospitals, you name it, going up because people keep coming in, and they are coming from New York and other states, the blue states that continue to disrespect the taxpayer with high taxes and ridiculous regulations, fees, fines, mandates, you name it. And it is stunning to me.
Fees, fines, and mandates. Those are all that layer that we talk about that creates a situation where everything is just so ridiculously expensive. Washington State being one of those places.
After we have these statistics already that the voters in New York would vote, this man's, I wish he was a socialist. He makes a socialist look like a Republican. That's and unfortunately, he's not even hiding it. When he says the means of production, that is right out of the Marx booklet, and it is going to be bad news if he follows suit. And I am heartbroken for this city because I can promise you the tax base is going to be running out of here.
Yeah. Can I just
of course.
cascades on itself? This started during COVID. Bad policies drove people out. And I always say the people who came back after COVID are not the same demographic. They're your Mamdani voters. I was just walking around yesterday and thinking that all the things I loved about the city had changed so much. Not just, we talk about the crime issues every day. We talk about the taxes. But for me personally, I used to love staying in the city on a weekend to go have great brunches at crowded spots where you would run into friends or walking through the park. None of my friends are here anymore. Nobody's here. I walk around. You're here, thank God. But nobody
The criminal illegals are, though. They're there.
else is. And so when I walk around neighborhoods that I used to love to just, shop and stop for this or stop for that, it feels so different that all of this that I'm paying for, I'm not really getting the same enjoyment out of it. And now I fly away, with my feet, or literally fly on the weekends because I don't want to be here.
Which raises the question again, why did Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, endorse Mamdani? She has said she doesn't agree with him on his tax policies, that he wants to hike taxes on New Yorkers, but she must see the same data that we just talked about too, and knows that her tax base is leaving the city as taxes are going up. And he wants to just hike them even further, impose a 2% income tax on Big Apple residents making more than $1 million a year. He wants to raise the corporate tax too, to match something like New Jersey, which that's a whole separate topic. We know that's not good.
Yeah.
There's that acceleration we're talking about. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great for podcasts. Like I say, socialist mayor in Seattle. It's going to be great for me, not Seattle.
Why, Brianna, would she endorse him if she says she doesn't like his tax policies, and we can assume she knows what that's doing to the state?
Because Kathy Hochul is the worst governor in America, and I don't say that lightly. That being said,
He's got competition for
Gavin Newsom is definitely neck and neck on this one, but Kathy Hochul legitimately hates everything America stands for. And it does give Elise Stefanik a little bit of a boost, obviously going into this gubernatorial race. Back to the wealth flight. Mamdani is following a very similar playbook to what happened to New York in the 1960s and the 1970s, right? You go back to Mayor John Lindsay, he expanded welfare programs, he hiked the tax rate up, and wealthy New Yorkers saw tax rates, they saw fiscal irresponsibility, and they did see crime, and they left. And by 1975, New York City was bankrupt. It took a long time to get New York City back to where it is, at least right now. So the fact that Mamdani now wants to almost not only double down on those policies, but actually expand on the things that cause the problems should be a warning sign to anyone in New York with money or sensibilities to get out now.
And there's more to it than the economy. If you just watch what he says on criminals and jails, it is. When I travel the subways now, there's a lot of police officers there. And you know what's happened now? There's less crime because of that. And now he wants to go the opposite route. And the number one job of any leader of any community, state, or country is to protect the citizenry. How do you protect the citizenry? You make sure you have enough people out there that protects them, number one. And if you do the crime, you are going to do the time. And he is the opposite of both that. And it's stunning that anybody who has families here would vote for this type of crazy.
100% agree. I mean, and that's the same drill we have in Seattle. It's like, why are we electing a commie who is not going to prioritize public safety? He's not going to prioritize anything away except giving out toasters and a bunch of nonsense that, we don't need. And hiking up taxes and just making everything more expensive, because that is what will happen under socialism. Things get more expensive because socialism's only happening in the big blue liberal cities where you've got progressives that are like, oh yeah, this will be great. What could go wrong? Like you heard the one gal on the Fox show talk about, and I talk about on this podcast all the time, is that you got to have every 20, 25 years or so, and I'm stealing this from somebody else. I can't remember who said this. Maybe Ari Hoffman here in Seattle. One of those guys who knows more about this than I do. Every 20, 25 years, you need to have somebody in office who's a socialist, because then you can point at their time period in office and go, remember when that happened? Remember what an absolute train wreck that was? Remember when we lived through that? Oh, we don't want to do that again. But now you got enough kids out there who, number one, just have their head up their asses. And then number two, they actually think that socialism might accomplish something. Yeah. It's like all the folks over in Seattle, gonna freeze rent. We're gonna, all that just nonsense. Oh, we're gonna be concerned about the environment. All right. Yeah, that'll really bring your rent down, won't it? Numbnut. New report reveals that New York and New Jersey have suffered staggering financial losses as hundreds of thousands of residents packed up, got the F out of the states in the past decade, taking billions of dollars. What do we got? Well, we got New York lost $517.5 billion. We got New Jersey, $170.1 billion. This is over $700 billion, and this is between 2013 to 2022. So not even the last 3 years where you've had, post-pandemic, you've definitely had some people say, adios, gotta go. All right, going south, going to Florida. New York and New Jersey combined have lost 2/3 of $1 trillion in net income and purchasing power over the last decade due to moving vans departing these states, going away. This has been one of the greatest wealth losses for one region in American history. New Jersey and New York are being bled to death by low tax states in the South. Now, you might say that the low tax states are bleeding the high tax states. You know what? The high tax states are bleeding out themselves. They're literally cutting their wrist, cutting their throat, and going, it should be fine. Our residents, they'll live through it. A little blood loss, their income just going right to taxes. It'll be fine. They'll take it. They're Democrats. They're progressive Democrats. They're socialists. They'll just bend over and take it, and they'll like it. And so they'll say, sir, may I have another? Other major population losses included California, which lost how much? $370 billion. So you're and Illinois. Oh, our favorite. So we got New York, we got New Jersey, we got California and Illinois. Probably not probably, the worst leadership in America, in these states, right? They're just absolutely tanking. And their leadership, like Gavin Newsom, he's off on some stupid climate conference, signing California up for some just loser climate stuff. And he's saying, Trump is abandoning the world process to get climate change on board. Like, no, he's just not paying any attention to that nonsense. It's just stupid, ridiculous nonsense that somebody like Gavin Newsom throws out there. It's like, what are you even doing? How about you rebuild the Palisades and then get back to me, right? Instead of being off somewhere, we're going to change the world. Meanwhile, states with lower taxes and more business-friendly climates saw explosive gains. Florida topped the list with a gain of $1 trillion in residential income between 2018 and 2022, while Texas added $290 billion. I mean, the obvious optics, they're just so insane. Why in the world would anybody elect Mamdani? Why in the world would anybody in Seattle elect Katie Wilson? Well, because they're mentally challenged. They seem to think that socialism is the way to go, even though it's never really worked. And even though we've had example after example after example of situations where municipalities have taxed the absolute F out of their constituents, and how'd that go? Do more people ever move into a community that's got high taxes? No. I mean, it's so wildly obvious, right? It's so wildly obvious. And yet it's based on ideology. Hey, this is going to work this time. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And as far as the whole population, so we know, all right, $700 billion. What's that mean? How many people actually left did that encompass? Unleash Prosperity's Vote With Your Feet project, which analyzes IRS migration data, found that New York lost a net 1.757 million residents through domestic migration during that decade, more than any other state. California followed with 1.6. So we got New York with 1.7, California with 1.6, and Illinois with 881,000, New Jersey 350,000. I mean, literally millions of people moving to low-tax, Republican-run states. How anybody can't look at that and go, there seems to be a theme here. Biggest winners in that same period were Florida, which gained 6 million, and Texas with 3 million. North Carolina came in third, adding more than 520,000 new residents. So literally, what do you got there? You got 3.5 million, something like that. I think it's 3.25 million residents have gone from here to here. Wild. And you're going to elect a Mamdani because things are so expensive. And he said, hey, you're going to get some free bus rides. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. Free bus rides. The findings underscore a continuing shift in population and wealth from high tax, high cost states in the Northwest and West Coast. Washington, Oregon, California, the worst in so many different categories. I mean, if California doesn't have something locked up for the worst, then you just go next door. You go next door to Oregon. And if Oregon doesn't have it, if Oregon isn't second or third, they're numero uno, right? Numero uno in Washington is numero uno in shoplifting. California is numero uno in so many categories. I don't know how they're even going to run Gruesome Newsom, because that guy is responsible for so much of the failure in California. Good luck getting him elected. But again, it kind of goes down to this whole notion that we know socialism doesn't work. And we know we've had these massive outflows of people, massive outflows of capital. And yet you're still going to elect a Mamdani? Oh yeah, he's going to save us. He's going to reduce costs. Like, yeah, but he's a socialist, and that's never worked. Never worked. Oh, let's just try it again. It'll be good this time. You are seeing the proof in the pudding with the numbers here, right? And when you hire a socialist, I mean, it literally, how that works. And you know how it works? People that have their heads screwed on straight are leaving the bad states and they're going to the good ones. And by the good ones, I mean the red ones. So, and this is a migration trend that economists say shows no sign of slowing, going from Northeast and West Coast to South and the Sun Belt. I mean, it is a massive, massive shift that you're seeing now. And that shift is happening in spite of what the big blue cities are doubling down on the same policies that created this shift in the first place. Let's tax the F out of people, not really give them a lot. You might get raped, you might get murdered on the subway, but hey, ride the subway anyway, right? It's always about, wow, how can we use public transport and just really get around our little city here? How could, just a bunch of nonsense, right? Get in your car and just drive somewhere. It's America. It's America. We're not some crazy third world country without cars. We have cars. We drive cars. That's what we do. I find it wild that the socialists are doing as well as they are as far as the elections go. But what's going to be super interesting is, all right, you guys are in office. You guys are you're always talking about affordability. You're always talking about beating on affordability. You want free buses. You want free healthcare. You want free, you want whatever. You want capped rent. All these things that in the end create a real affordability problem. And the same things the policy that creates the lack of affordability, the policy in these big blue cities and the policy in these big blue cities and counties is what makes them unaffordable. And yet you're going to layer on even more. All right. Okay. Like they're talking about Hochul. She's terrible. Talking about Gavin Newsom. He's terrible. But they're going to run him for office anyway, because what could go wrong? Let's just double down on this and we'll see what happens. I mean, let's, roll those dice. I'm a gambling man, right? Let's roll those dice. I'm actually not. Roll those dice and we'll see what happens. And Seattle, same thing. Seattle with its election of just a numbnut socialist, who has zero experience, literally zero job experience. I shouldn't say zero, close to zero. No real skill set. Husband's unemployed, gets a bunch of money at age 43 from her parents. I'm sorry. And I've talked about this before. When I was 43, I had a freshman in college and I wasn't getting money from my parents. Right? I'm getting childcare from my parents to support me in a city that I couldn't afford, because I paid my own way. And so doesn't that make me more qualified than somebody who's running on a socialist platform that's never really had a significant job, no real public office experience, husband unemployed, financially not able to afford the city that she is going to be running with a $9 billion budget? I mean, maybe it's $12 billion. It's somewhere in there. But I mean, she is coming in and running a massive, massive corporation, just like Mamdani. That's an even bigger one. Biggest in the United States, right? Biggest in the United States. And yet constituents voted for these people. Like, what's wrong with you? I mean, literally, what's wrong with you? Know what? Those are the people that will remain in these cities. Everybody else will leave. And they will look around and go, I don't get it. Everything's so expensive and everybody left. I don't understand. I'm talking like New York City was bankrupt. That's what it takes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went bankrupt because we didn't have the tax base to pay the bills because our policies were so terrible. And that's what we're seeing again is that 20, 25-year cycle. Well, let's throw a couple of socialists in there. And it's not just a couple. It's a bunch. It's a bunch throughout the United States. And this is pushback on Trump, but it's also part of a bigger trend going on that was it was really had the spotlight put on it during the pandemic, because then you got to see, all right, so if we have a pandemic, what's California do? Oh, not good. What's Washington State do? Oh, not good. What's Oregon do? Oh, yep, no. What's Florida do? Huh? They're having a party down there in Florida. What's Texas doing? Pretty much looks like business as usual. I think they wore the masks for a day and a half, and then they thought, well, this is stupid, which rightly so. That was stupid. And so here we go, right? I mean, clear as day. It's clear as day. But you know what? Let's get out that popcorn, because this is going to go. This is going to go for days, months, years down the road. Make sure you're subscribed, that notification bell. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for being here. We'll catch up soon. Bye for now.